flags of the British Isles, Flavour for Poland, Lithuania and Ruthenia, and onboarding systems. This Week in Development, this time coming to you on the main channel feed. Hello and welcome to This Week in Development, our weekly show where we cover all of the development news coming out of Paradox Tinto. I am your host Alex, also known as Midgeman, and I am one of your community ambassadors here for the Europa Universalis brand. Normally this show lives in your shorts feed, but we've taken the opportunity, presented to us by a gap in our video feed, to bring it to you in a slightly longer format, and in wonderful widescreen. Do I look glorious in 4K? With that in mind, it is imperative if you like this video series and you like this style to get in the comments and like this video. We need you to tell us which format you prefer, or if you want both. And the best way to do that is by supporting it with a like. Now, without further ado, let's get on to all things Tinto. Timestamps for the topics are going to be in the description. We need to kick this week off with some non-development Tinto news, but you're going to want to stick around and find out about this, trust me. As in EU5 community news, there's some awesome things that got revealed, and one thing that we need to apologize for. Let's start off with the apology. Last week, as part of one of our Tinto talks, we announced that the tutorial series for EU5 would be starting here on the YouTube channel, but that is simply not the case. We do have an insanely detailed tutorial series on the way, but it'll be arriving closer to release. That being said, I am super excited for you all to see it. I've been working on this personally with so many members of the team and some awesome members of the community, such as the elusive economic mastermind that is Generalist Gaming, to produce you an awesome tutorial series. All told, between the drafts and the scripts, about 100,000 words has been put into the tutorial, and we can't wait for you to have it, but sadly, you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. Next up in community news, we had two big reveals this week, which happened to be opportunities for you to win big. First of all, we announced our EU5 quiz, where you can not only find out what kind of ruler you are, but you have the chance to earn some exclusive Logitech loot. I'm going to be very jealous of anyone getting these items, as the quiz is currently the only way to land yourself these Logitech items. And upsettingly, I'm not allowed to enter the quiz. So go ahead and check out the quiz, get the chance to earn some Logitech loot, and make me extremely jealous. The second reveal this week was our latest makeshift plushie collection, revealing John Universalis and Mare Nostrum 5. Or should that be Mare Nostrum 5? These, of course, will have their own makeshift drop in the near future. However, there is currently a chance for you to win these. So go over to X and retweet, whatever it is now, the status about the plushies that you can find in this video description for your chance to win. Okay, all that community news out the way, let's get on with the Tinto talks. Starting off on Monday with St. Dave returning again with more Tinto flags. This is the second Tinto flag post, this week covering Great Britain and Ireland. This, like the previous Tinto flag post, covers each of the individual nations within the British Isles, or the region that's being highlighted, as well as political variations. You'll also notice a few Easter egg flags for very specific variations of nations and their rulers, such as certain rebellion flags. Also showcased in this particular flags episode is some of the dynastic coat of arms, which I think look awesome. This is definitely a tease for some of those players who might be coming to EU5 from the Crusader Kings community, and a small hint at the dynastic level of the game. Then on Wednesday, we had Tinto Talk 84, which covered onboarding systems. This diary was brought to us by Eric Vincent, a UX designer and UX team coordinator at Tinto. You might recognize him as the developer with fantastic hair that joined Lathe in the Armory in our announcement show. But what on earth is onboarding systems? Well, this talk explains just that, going into the more tutorial elements of the game, how in our design philosophy we broke gameplay into different play styles. It also showcased the recommended countries for game start, and revealed our generic in-game tutorial walkthrough system. This talk is a really good look into some of our design philosophy and how we're preparing the game for players to catch up to those of you who have completed the 1,000-hour tutorial we call EU4. Lastly, but by no means least, we had a Tinto Flavour this week. This one was Tinto Flavour 44, which was hosted by Pavia and dove into Poland, Lithuania and Ruthenia. The reason we grouped these nations together is because there is unique content for all three, but they also share some of that unique content. As you may know, much of their history was very intertwined. The talk kicked off with information about Poland under the famous King Casimir, and showcased the starts for Poland, Lithuania, and Kiev. This Flavour diary was so jam-packed that Pavia ran out of room to cover more than just the surface information and key advances, events, privileges, and the like. So much so that the team opened the floor for all of you to ask questions about the content, and they'll be remaining active and sharing information about these nations in the forum thread until Tuesday. Finally, while we didn't have dev diaries this week, we did still have some development posts that gave you some insight into the game, most notably here on our shorts feed with the map mode spotlights and a look at France's unique advances, brought to you by the rest of the community team. And that's it for our first ever widescreen This Week in Development. Next week we will have another Tinto flags, although the region wasn't listed this time, so like you, I am now sitting and waiting in anticipation to find out where we're going to get the flags from next. A Tinto flavor about Kilwa and Zimbabwe. On Wednesday we have a Tinto talk about modding systems, which of course is covering modding EU5. We see you, modding community, we see you. And then finally on Friday we'll have a second Tinto flavor covering Switzerland and the Hansa. Until then, I've been Midgeman. Next week, we'll most likely come back to the short form variant of this show, and it will be hosted by my good friend and colleague, Habibi, because I'll be out making preparations to head to the Tinto offices in Spain for some very important projects that you'll see very shortly. But do let us know if you liked the video, which format you'd prefer to see This Week in Development take, and of course let us know what community content you'd like to see. Although now we're mostly prepping for content you'd like to see post-release. And speaking of, as the release date gets ever closer, remember, be ambitious.